Ex-business partner tried to steal our company by forging board minutes. The handwriting analysis made the fraud case simple. Starting a business with your college buddy seems like a dream come true until it becomes your worst nightmare. We had built something incredible together over 6 years, growing from a tiny startup in my garage to a company worth several $1 million. Our partnership had always been 50-50, and I trusted him completely with every aspect of our operations. Looking back, that blind trust was probably my biggest mistake, but hindsight is always crystal clear when you're picking up the pieces. The first red flag appeared during what should have been a routine board meeting discussion about expanding our operations. He had been acting strange for weeks, taking calls in private and staying late at the office without explanation. When I asked about it, he brushed me off with vague explanations about working on special projects. The tension between us grew thicker each day, and I could feel something shifting in our dynamic. Our conversations became shorter, more formal, and the easy camaraderie we once shared started dissolving into awkward silences. Everything changed on a Tuesday morning when I received a call from our attorney about some concerning documents. Apparently, my business partner had submitted board meeting minutes to our legal team, claiming that I had been voted out of the company. The documents showed a detailed record of a board meeting, where supposedly I had been removed from all positions due to incompetence and financial mismanagement. My hands shook as I read through the fabricated minutes, seeing my supposed signature on documents I had never seen before. The most shocking part was how detailed and professional the forged documents looked. Every page contained specific dates, times, and even voting records that made the whole thing appear legitimate. He had created an entire fictional narrative about multiple board meetings, where shareholders had supposedly expressed concerns about my leadership. Reading through the lies felt like watching someone rewrite the history of my own life, turning 6 years of partnership into a story where I was the villain. My initial reaction was pure disbelief, followed by a rage so intense it made my vision blur. This was the person I had trusted with my life savings, my dreams, and my future. We had worked side by side through countless 18-hour days, celebrated every milestone together, and supported each other through personal struggles. The betrayal cut deeper than any business dispute, because it felt like losing a brother who had decided to destroy everything we had built together. The legal implications hit me like a freight train as I realized how carefully he had planned this takeover. If these documents were accepted as legitimate, I would lose not just my company but also my reputation in the industry. The forged minutes painted me as an incompetent leader who had been making poor decisions that threatened the company's future. Every client relationship, every vendor contract, and every employee would question my credibility if this narrative became public knowledge. I spent the next 48 hours in a state of panic, barely sleeping as I tried to figure out how to fight back. The weight of potentially losing everything I had worked for felt crushing, and I found myself questioning every decision I had made. My family could see the stress eating away at me, but I couldn't bring myself to explain the full extent of what was happening. The shame of being betrayed so completely by someone I trusted made it difficult to ask for help or support. The breakthrough came when I remembered that I had been keeping detailed personal records of all our actual board meetings. Unlike the fancy corporate minutes he had forged, my notes were handwritten in a simple notebook that I carried everywhere. These authentic records showed the real dates, attendees, and decisions from our genuine meetings, creating a stark contrast to his fabricated documents. The timeline in his forged minutes didn't match any of the actual events or decisions we had made as a company. Comparing the two sets of documents revealed the first major flaw in his plan. The forged minutes referenced business decisions and financial figures that didn't align with our actual company records. He had created meeting dates that conflicted with times when I was out of town on business trips, something easily verified through travel receipts and hotel records. The attention to detail that initially made his forgeries seem convincing actually became his downfall when subjected to careful scrutiny. The handwriting analysis became the smoking gun that would ultimately save my company. Our attorney suggested bringing in a forensic handwriting expert to examine the documents, and I agreed immediately despite the significant cost. The expert needed samples of both my genuine handwriting and my business partner's writing to compare against the forged signatures. Gathering these samples felt like collecting evidence for a crime scene, which in many ways it was. The handwriting expert's report was devastatingly thorough and completely vindicated my claims. The analysis showed that my supposed signatures on the forged documents were actually written by my business partner, with clear indicators of his writing style and pen pressure patterns. The expert could identify specific characteristics of his handwriting that he had tried to disguise when forging my signature. Even more damning was the discovery that he had used the same pen and paper for multiple documents that were supposedly signed on different dates. The moment I saw the handwriting analysis results, I felt a mixture of relief and vindication that was almost overwhelming. Months of stress and anxiety melted away as I realized that I had concrete proof of his fraud. The expert's report was so detailed and conclusive that it would be impossible for him to dispute the findings. Every forged signature was clearly identified and explained in technical terms that would hold up in any legal proceeding. Confronting him with the evidence was one of the most difficult conversations of my life. When I presented the handwriting analysis, I watched his face go through a range of emotions from confusion to panic to resignation. He initially tried to deny everything, claiming that the analysis was somehow flawed or biased. But as I showed him page after page of detailed comparisons between his handwriting and the forged signatures, his protests became weaker and more desperate. The legal consequences came swiftly once we had solid evidence of the fraud. Our attorney filed criminal charges for forgery and attempted theft, while also pursuing civil remedies to protect the company. The district attorney's office was particularly interested in the case because of the sophisticated nature of the fraud and the substantial financial damages involved. Seeing law enforcement take the case seriously felt like validation that what he had done was truly criminal, not just a business dispute. The most unexpected twist came when investigators discovered that this wasn't his first attempt at corporate fraud. During their investigation, they found evidence that he had been planning this takeover for over a year, methodically gathering information and preparing documents. Even more shocking was the discovery that he had been embezzling money from the company to fund his legal preparations for the takeover. The scope of his betrayal was far greater than I had initially imagined. The embezzlement discovery added another layer of complexity to an already complicated situation. He had been systematically stealing from the company while pretending to be my trusted partner, using our own money to fund his plan to steal the entire business. The audacity of it was breathtaking, and it made me question every interaction we had shared over the past year. How had I missed the signs of such elaborate deception happening right under my nose? The investigation revealed that he had been working with an outside party who had promised to help him secure additional funding once he gained control of the company. This mysterious third party had apparently convinced him that removing me from the business would make it more attractive to potential investors. The whole scheme was far more complex than a simple partnership dispute, involving multiple layers of fraud and conspiracy that took months to fully unravel. The emotional toll of the entire ordeal was something I hadn't anticipated when the legal battle began. Watching someone I had considered family systematically destroy our relationship and attempt to steal my life's work created a deep sense of betrayal that affected every aspect of my life. Sleep became elusive as I replayed conversations and interactions, searching for clues I had missed along the way. The stress manifested in physical symptoms that forced me to confront just how deeply this betrayal had affected me. The trial process was exhausting, but ultimately satisfying as the truth finally came to light. The handwriting expert testified about the forged documents with scientific precision that left no room for doubt. The prosecution presented a compelling case that showed the premeditated nature of his fraud and the sophisticated planning involved. Watching the jury's reaction as they heard the evidence gave me confidence that justice would prevail in this case. The conviction brought a sense of closure that I desperately needed to move forward. He was sentenced to prison time and ordered to pay substantial restitution for the embezzled funds and legal costs. The judge's comments during sentencing about the particularly egregious nature of betraying a business partner resonated deeply with me. Finally, someone in authority had acknowledged the personal dimension of what he had done, not just the legal violations. Rebuilding the company without him proved to be both challenging and liberating in ways I hadn't expected. Removing his influence from every aspect of the business revealed how much his negativity had been affecting our operations and employee morale. The remaining team rallied around the company's mission with renewed energy and commitment that surprised everyone. Without his constant interference and manipulation, we were able to implement changes that improved both efficiency and workplace culture. The experience taught me valuable lessons about trust, due diligence, and the importance of maintaining independent oversight in business relationships. I implemented new systems and procedures that would prevent any single person from having too much control over critical company operations. The painful experience of betrayal led to stronger safeguards that actually made the company more resilient and better positioned for future growth. The handwriting analysis that saved my company became something of a legend in our industry as word spread about the case. Other business owners reached out to share their own stories of partnership betrayals and fraud attempts. The forensic expert who had worked on our case started getting referrals from attorneys across the country dealing with similar document fraud cases. Our story became a cautionary tale about the importance of maintaining proper documentation and verification procedures. Years later, I can look back on this experience with a mixture of gratitude and wisdom that comes from surviving such a profound betrayal. The company not only survived, but thrived without the toxic influence of someone who had been secretly working against its success. The employees who remained became more invested in the company's future, knowing that their loyalty and hard work were genuinely valued and protected. The most important lesson I learned was that sometimes the people closest to us are capable of the greatest betrayals, but that doesn't mean we should stop trusting altogether. Building better systems and maintaining healthy skepticism while still believing in the goodness of people became a delicate balance that served me well in future business relationships. The experience made me a better leader and a more careful judge of character, without making me cynical or paranoid. Looking back, that forged handwriting analysis was the key that unlocked the truth and saved everything I had worked to build. Without that concrete evidence, the case would have devolved into a he said situation that might have dragged on for years. The precision of forensic science cut through all the lies and manipulation to reveal the simple truth about what had really happened. Sometimes the most sophisticated crimes are undone by the most basic evidence, and in this case, handwriting analysis provided the clarity and justice I needed to move forward with my life.